Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Fanshawe College's Fall 2020 Virtual Open House. This session will be a session focusing on Agri-Business Management Program at our London South Campus. My name is Saurabh Malhotra and I will be the moderator for this session. If you have any questions during the session, please put them in the questions tab and I will direct them to the presenter at the end. It's our pleasure to welcome all the students who are looking at Agri-Business Management Program at the London South Campus. It's a very popular program, and I am very happy that we have the expert who manages this program at the London South Campus, the program coordinator for Agri-Business Management Program, Sandra Wilson. Good morning, Sandra, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. How are you?
Welcome,
very well. Everyone. So before I get started, I'm just going to go through some housekeeping items. So a few instructions for our session. Webcams and mics are turned off for the session, but you can use the questions feature to ask your question during the session, and our moderators will do their best to cover all the questions. If you have questions about other topics, you can check out other sessions being offered, or you can email us at myfuture@fanshawec.ca. And now you can sit back and enjoy the session. So first, just a little bit about me. So I am the program coordinator for the Agribusiness Management Program. I grew up on a small beef farm in Ontario, and I attended the University of Guelph here in Ontario, which is one of the main agricultural schools in Canada. I have been teaching at Fanshawe for almost 10 years. Before that, I spent many years working in the health and safety field, which is a good topic to think about when you're looking at agriculture. So now I'd like to spend a few moments talking about the program. This is a one-year graduate certificate, which means the majority of our students come to us with a degree or a diploma, but not necessarily in agriculture. Because as you will see in the presentation, agribusiness management spans many fields of interest, many industries. So there are several options for entrance to our program that consider a combination also of education and work experience. The program includes 2 semesters in the classroom, fall and winter, followed by a 6-week field placement at the start of the summer. And that is our predominant signature learning experience in the program. So I mentioned agribusiness is quite diverse. So on this slide, I just want to take a moment and help you understand the breadth of agribusiness. We have our inputs, which are could be seeds, it could be fertilizer, any crop inputs. It could also be the lenders, the banks that are giving money. It could be insurance that farmers need to purchase. And of course, equipment that is bought or service, so sales and service in many different areas. We also have production, which is what most people think about when they think of agribusiness. So that could be large farms, it could be small farms, greenhouses, nurseries, or commodity specific like dairy, beef, poultry. And from this, we get our outputs, which mainly are food processing, but it could also be that food processing then goes off to markets or retail locations. There are several commodity associations that are also considered outputs. And finally, finally, we have that consumer, okay, the consumer actually getting the product. So I mentioned not all of our students come to us with an agricultural degree because again, we are a very diverse sector. So in the past, we have had some students join us who have a degree in commerce because they're interested in the banking, lending aspects of agribusiness. We have some who come to us with computer science backgrounds. Agriculture is changing, precision technologies and robotics are being used in many fields, and people come to us with computer backgrounds hoping to get into that area. Food science as well, because of all the food processing, quality assurance requirements. And then we have some students who come from different backgrounds because they recognize that agriculture is a growing industry. For the program itself, we have, again, a broad range of topics. So we have some topics that relate to finance, such as managerial accounting. So here it isn't the actual bookkeeping, but more how, as a manager, you would look at spreadsheets and data so that you could interpret them and make good business decisions. We also look at agricultural finance, which is a course focusing on creating business plans. We have some courses that involve law and understanding legislation. One is occupational health and safety. Another is employee relations, where we look at laws around human resources management. And then, of course, we have our food safety and traceability course. We have some courses that are very focused on specific parts of agriculture, one being precision technologies, as I mentioned, robotics, but also the use of GPS or GIS when harvesting or managing pests. We have a course on pest control management, where we look at not only the chemical control, but also integrated pest management. And then we have a course on issues in the agri-food industry. And each year, this course looks at different topics that are current issues in agriculture. We have two courses on marketing. One is a general introduction to marketing, and the second one focuses on new media marketing, which is social media techniques. And finally, of course, people related. Relationship management and selling, where you learn about building that relationship with customers or suppliers. And then finally, leadership and management, where you learn how to be a better leader. Along with these courses that happen in fall and winter, we have our field placement, which is in the spring. So during class, our class time is actually scheduled. So depending on the course, you will have 2 hours scheduled in class and then an additional 1 or 2 hours online where you are doing other activities. For assessments, there is a variety of assessments that we use. And so each course might use different options, but there can be quizzes, tests, or exams. There are many group projects because in the real world, we work in groups. We also have individual assignments. At times, you might be delivering presentations to the class, and we do use a number of case studies, so real-world problems that you can analyze. I want to take a moment, if you've been looking at the photos in the presentation, I just want to give credit to past students. All the photos in this presentation come from students who were out on a field placement. And experiential learning, when you actually get out to try some of these things, we have many opportunities during the fall and winter semester. In the past, we have visited some trade shows, such as the National Poultry Show or the London Farm Show. And at these shows, you will often have an assignment tied to the show. So there's an activity to do while you're out visiting. We have gone to the Agriculture Research Station here in London to learn about pest management research happening today. We've also taken some farm tours, and this is a photo of the group 1 year on a tour. I think that was the poultry farm. We often have volunteer opportunities for our students you can go out and volunteer with an organization, and we bring many guest speakers into the classroom to talk about various topics in various courses. Along with our fall and winter course experiential learning, we also have our field placement, which happens in the spring semester. So this is a mandatory course in our program, and you must have completed all of the other courses successfully in order to attend the field placement. The field placement is 6 weeks in length. It is unpaid, and it gathers you 240 hours of experience. And in the unpaid field placement, you have an opportunity to use the skills and knowledge you learned in the classroom while working in an industry of your choice. So we do try to map your interest into the field placement industry. Many people ask me about career opportunities. Here in Canada, the research shows that we have one job, and for every graduate of the field in our field, we have 4 career opportunities in agriculture. So here in Canada, agriculture workers are in short supply. And with the knowledge you gain from this program, there are supervisory or management opportunities for you. So even graduates from our program now, some of them are supervisors in farming operations. So for instance, they might be managing a poultry barn. They could be very small or very large. We have graduates working in food processing or distribution. So we have one graduate who is a manager at Cargill Food Processing here in London. You could work with agriculture supply firms, and so you might be working with marketing or sales in the banking industry. Distribution, trade, and agribusiness management is an option. I mentioned small businesses. Some of our students are looking to start their own small businesses. And we also have quite a bit of agritourism. So these are farmers who have realized they need to diversify, and so they offer tourism opportunities on their farm. So when you go to an apple orchard, you can pick the apples and do some activities. So agritourism is quite popular. Our program is offered at 2 locations, so I coordinate the program at the London South Campus, but we also offer the program at our Simcoe Norfolk Regional Campus. If you are at London South, students at our campus are able to access all of the services and resources at the larger London Oxford campus. So I've given you an overview. We have more details on our program page, and this is the link where you can reach our program page. This is my email if you have further questions. And again, remember, if you have other questions not about the program, you can email myfuture@fanshawe.ca, or you can book an appointment with a recruiter at fanshawe.ca Connect. Whoops, I guess I'll stop there.
Thank you, Sandra, for an overview of the Agri-Business Management Program. There are some questions coming in, and I'd like to pose these questions to you. The first question comes from Saidian, and the question is, if I study agribusiness management, does it mean that I have to work on the farm only?
Not at all. So that's a really great question. As I mentioned, we try to match your placement to your interest. So for instance, last May, we had students very interested in the finance part, business plan development. So they worked with a local firm and developed business plans, did research and wrote business plans. I've had many students who go into food processing because they're more interested in quality assurance. We also had students working with our county, Middlesex County, actually doing some research and creating infograms, more of a marketing aspect. So it depends on your interest. If you are interested in working on the farm, we have had students do that as well.
Thank you, Sandra. The next question comes from Liz Pollard, and the question is, are there opportunities to learn product development with this program?
If you are talking about like developing a new salad dressing or something along that line, in our relationship and sales course, one of the things you do there is you focus a sales pitch on a product of your choice. So some of our students who have wanted to, I'm thinking of one of them, who wanted to pursue a career with organic muffins, she actually used that as her product in her relationship and sales. So many of the courses, like the business plan course, we allow you to pick your topic. So if you did want to move into your own business, you could actually use what you've developed during your course. but we don't actually help you develop a product. So if you were looking for someone to help you develop your idea, I don't think you'd find that in these courses, but you could use what you're learning in the course to help you promote your new business if you were starting one.
Thank you, Sandra. The next question comes from Farhal. The question is, may I know the intakes available for this program in 2021?
Okay, so at the London campus, we have an intake in September. So our intake is only in September, and then you finish in mid-June the next year. At Simcoe, the intake is in January, and then you finish, I believe, in August or September. So intakes in September or January, depending on the campus you want to attend.
Thank you, Sandra. There are a couple of other questions that are there as well. What type of organizations do you visit during farm tours in this program?
Okay, so each year we try to include a variety. We usually stop at 3 different locations. So often we will choose an input, a production, and an output, the same way I had on the screen. So for inputs, we have gone to Hensel Co-op, where they sell seeds and products. For production, we have gone to dairy barns. We have a dairy barn near us, which is very modern. They actually have a biogas energy generator, and they supply electricity for their farm and for a nearby town. So it's fascinating to go there. We also visit poultry barns. And an example of an output would be a food processor. So we'd actually go and visit a food processing plant, or we have also visited tractor supply companies so that you can actually see the tractors with the GPS and robotics and things that you're learning about. Mushroom farm, that would be another one that we've been to. We have a lot of opportunities around us, greenhouses as well. We actually have a very large cannabis grower quite close. So we have many opportunities to visit different places.
Thank you, Sandra. The next question is, can you provide some examples of placement hosts from previous years?
Yes. So, a test for my memory. So I mentioned food processors. Okay, so we've had people at, and I don't know if you know London very well, so I'll be more broad. So we've had people in quality assurance positions at, it's like a cookie making or spice making. In a spice processor, we had someone in the test kitchen because they came from a food science background. So they were testing recipes. We've had sales and service, so working at Huron Tractor, one person in inventory, another person on writing policies. We've had people in human resources roles with a dairy barn supply company. So they were rewriting policies and doing some human resources activities. We've had students working actually in barns, so managing a poultry barn, another student managing a hog barn. Many quality assurance positions, either rewriting policies or moving from one quality assurance activity to another, or actually out on the field doing, out on the shop floor collecting data and analyzing it. I mentioned the business plan development. We've also had people working on agritourism, so actually working with people out on a touring type farm. It's quite broad, really depends on your interests.
Thank you, Sandra. The next question is, can you provide examples of some of the research projects in this program?
Yes. So we try to do at least 1 or 2 research projects per year, and they are all student led. So one project we did was involved growing microgreens, so small shoots, and that student was looking at seed density and types and the types of seeds. And so at the end of the project, the goal was to build a business plan suggesting which seed density and which crop would give you the best return. So that was an interesting project. We also partner sometimes with organizations. So we partnered with the Ontario Farm Association to do a survey around health and safety legislation in farming organizations. And the students created the questions and then actually surveyed during the farm show, collected the information, wrote a report about farmer and worker understanding of relevant legislation. We have also had students working locally with our Food Policy Council, and they were researching producers to include in a producer directory. So the idea was that if I were a restaurant in London, I could go to the directory and I could buy product from a local producer. So try to keep things more local. We've also had we've also done some market research. So we had local food processors or food creators give us samples that we would then give to our students in the campus, and then the students running the research created questions to answer the company's questions about the product. They surveyed the students and then wrote research market reports. So again, our research projects are varied as well, and then we look for our student body to be the researchers.
Thank you, Sandra. There is a question around, so this is a one-year graduate certificate program. A lot of international students do two graduate certificate programs so that they can get a longer work permit. So the question is around what program would be a good fit for this program. I know there can be multiple options and it depends on the background, but some things that other students have done as a second program after this.
Absolutely. So in our Kinlan Business School, the Lawrence Kinlan School of Business, there are a number of courses there that our students take as their second program. And it really depends on interest. So some students take the logistics and supply chain, because that fits nicely with agriculture. Some do the operations management. That's a huge piece missing in many agriculture businesses. Some who are interested in human resources do the human resources graduate certificate. Again, another growing area in agribusiness. And there was a fourth one, marketing. Many students who take the agribusiness program discover they really enjoy marketing and they go do the one-year marketing certificate. So those are within the business school. We also recently have added a cannabis program where, and forgive me, I don't know as much about this one, but I believe it's involved in the testing, cannabis testing. Okay, so that is also a one-year program offered at Fanshawe College. And then some students discover that it's really the love of food, and they go off to our tourism and hospitality and take some of the food, become a chef courses, I guess. So those are lots of options.
Thank you, Sandra. Yes, as you said, lots of options for students.
Lots of options.
For sure. So there is a question coming in from Fel, and the question is basically asking, what is the difference between Agri-Biz 1J, which is Simcoe, and Agri-Biz 2B, which is London South Campus?
Okay, so the big difference is the campus. So we both offer the same program. It's the same courses, but you would have different instructors. You might do them in a different order. The main difference is the campus, whether you are located in Simcoe, which is about 2 hours southeast of London, or if you're in London. So London is the 2B program, Simcoe's the 1J. Good question.
Thank you. So there is a question that we have around financial supports available for this program, but specifically for international students. Would you be aware of any financial supports?
So actually for the program in London, the AGM 2B, we have an award that we offer. It's called the Albert Nab Award, and it's $500. We award it in the winter semester so that it's available to you during your unpaid placement. So one student is selected for the award, and it is not an award you apply for. It is a faculty selected award based on a number of criteria. So we look for students who have a minimum GPA requirement, who have demonstrated an interest in continuing in agribusiness, and through their assignments and interest in that we notice in the assignments they're submitting, and also who have some community involvement, which is why I like to offer the volunteering options for students. So that is the award specific to the London Agribusiness Management program, but the college again has many bursaries and scholarships that that you would be able to apply for as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Sandra. I don't see any other questions right now. If there are any other questions, we still have a few minutes to go. Please put them in the question box and we will get to your question in the next few minutes. But those were all the questions, Sandra, I had. If there is anything else you'd like to add, the floor is yours.
I believe I've covered everything. I don't know. I think that's about all for me. It is an exciting program. There is lots of variety. And I do, as I mentioned, I do know that some students discover an interest they weren't aware of. So if you have never taken marketing, or you might use social media, but you get a better understanding of social media, business plan development, there are so many skills you gain in the program that can help you in anywhere in your life.
So Sandra, I have a question coming in, which
Mm-hmm.
is talking about the program cost for international students. And I just want to quickly mention it's about 16,000 Canadian dollars for the program. But our program page, if you just go on the program page, would mention the exact cost as well.
I'm just going to flip back to that slide so you can,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I can't seem to go back. There we go. So this is the program page.
Absolutely. Perfect. So if there are any other questions, oh, there is a question coming in around connection. So does this program or does the school have connections with FMCG companies? So like FMCG product companies.
Can you tell me what FMCG?
So FMCG would be fast-moving consumer goods. So
Oh,
our consumer goods companies, which so the question is if you have connections with that, or like I think the question might even be if there are employment opportunities for students in those kind of industries.
I am not familiar enough with what a
Mhm.
fast-moving good might be.
Yeah, so I think they're referring to retail products uh, like toothpaste, like things
Oh,
like that.
okay. Okay.
So yeah.
Um, so I can't think of any producers locally, but many of our students get placements outside of London. So they might be placed at a processing plant in Toronto. And so, of course, your options are much broader there.
Mhm.
So from a production point of view, yes, some of our students, as I mentioned, do have placements in farm market or retail. For it to be a placement, you have to have a connection to agriculture. So often it's farm markets, but the skills that you learn in the relationship and sales course are going to help you in any business when it comes to promoting or even marketing your product. So you can transfer the skills to the product you're interested in.
Thank you, Sandra. And like agriculture industry, agri-biz industry specifically, is such a big industry
It is.
in our region, right? So fantastic. So that brings me to the end of the questions that we have till now. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much for answering those questions and your presentation. Thank you to students for asking all these wonderful questions. I hope um, we were able to answer your questions, and we hope you join us at Fanshawe College very, very soon. We look forward to welcoming you. Sandra, last words to you to say goodbye to students.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me today. And it is a great opportunity with the variety of courses, and we are in a wonderful city here in London. So yes, I would look very forward to meeting with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.